My mother's text came 3 days after Christmas. "We are out of the house." That was all it said. No apology. No explanation. No question about where I had spent Christmas after she told me not to contact them again. I stood in my kitchen with my phone in my hand, remembering her exact words from Christmas Eve. "We will be fine without you." For the first time I had believed her. My name is Naomi Ellis. And for most of my adult life, my parents treated me less like a daughter and more like a safety net they could insult until they needed it. I worked as a risk analyst for a regional finance company. That meant I spent my days reading documents other people wanted to skim. Loan conditions, income verification, authorization forms, fraud flags, account restrictions, collateral risk, the small print that can save someone from a disaster or prove they walked into one with both eyes open. My parents liked to say my job made me suspicious. They called it negative thinking. They said I saw problems everywhere. What they meant was this: I saw problems before they could turn them into my responsibility. My father, Grant Ellis, owned a small home renovation company. In public, he was charming. He knew how to shake a hand, tell a joke, and make people believe he had everything under control. My mother, Celeste, was the kind of woman who could turn a grocery store trip into a performance. Hair done, scarf tied, smile ready. She cared deeply about how things looked, not how they were, how they looked. They had spent years building the image of a stable, respected family. Nice house, good cars, holiday cards, church events, dinner parties, a daughter in finance. They liked that last part when it made them sound proud. They disliked it when I asked questions. For years, I was the one they called when something went wrong. A missed insurance payment, a confusing tax letter, a credit card dispute, a business invoice my father had ignored, a bank notice my mother said looked dramatic. I would explain it, fix it, call the right office, find the missing document, make a calendar, send reminders. And every time they acted like I was being difficult until the problem disappeared. Then they acted like it had disappeared by itself. That is how some families use responsible children. They call you anxious when you warn them, then call you dependable when they need saving. 3 months before Christmas, my parents invited me to dinner. My mother made roast chicken, which she only did when she wanted something. My father opened a bottle of wine, which he only did when he wanted me relaxed. They were buying a new house, they said. Not just any house. A larger one. A better neighborhood. A gated street with wide lawns and holiday lights that looked like they had been installed by a committee. My mother called it a legacy home. My father called it an investment. I called it expensive. They laughed like I had made a joke. Then came the real reason for dinner. They wanted my income listed in the lender file. Not as a borrower, they said. Not as an owner. Just support. Just paperwork. Just something to strengthen the application while their current house sale went through. That word again. Just. People use just when they want you to stop seeing the size of what they are asking. Just sign here. Just help once. Just let us use the account temporarily. Just trust us. I asked to see the full draft. My father frowned. You do this all day. Can you not be a daughter for one dinner? My mother touched my hand. We are not strangers, Naomi. We are your parents. That was always the trick. If I asked for details, I was cold. If I hesitated, I was selfish. If I said no, I was punishing them. Financial abuse in families rarely begins with a crime. It begins with pressure that sounds familiar. Family helps family. You know we are good for it. Do you want us to be embarrassed? You have a good job. We only need your name for now. First it feels like a favor. Then it becomes an expectation. Then it becomes a plan they made before asking you. I told them I would review documents and nothing more. No open-ended support. No use of my name without written approval. No access to my personal accounts. No signatures unless I saw the final forms. My father raised both hands. Fine. Fine. Miss Risk Department has spoken. My mother laughed. I did not. For a few weeks everything seemed quiet. Too quiet. Then, 2 weeks before Christmas, I stopped by their house to pick up an old box of ornaments my mother said she no longer wanted. When I walked into the dining room, documents were spread across the table. Loan estimates. account summaries, printed emails, a closing checklist. My mother swept several pages into a tote bag so quickly that one slid to the floor. My father changed the subject. Do you want coffee? Picked up the page. My name was on it. My old address was on it too, even though I had corrected that twice. My mother reached for it. Oh, that is outdated. I did not let go. Then why is it on the table? She gave me the smile she used around guests. You always make things sound so suspicious. That night I went home and checked the shared folder. The file had been updated. Not by me. There was a revised lender packet I had never approved. My salary was listed as ongoing family support. My relationship to the purchase was described as committed financial assistance after closing. There was a transfer authorization page connected to a joint family account I had helped them manage years earlier. And at the bottom was my signature. Almost. From a distance it looked like mine. Close it was too clean. Too careful. It had none of the slight left lean my signature always had when I wrote fast. I stared at it until my eyes burned. There are moments when your body understands something before your mind is ready to name it. My hands went cold. My stomach tightened. My first thought was not anger. It was no. Just no. No, they would not. No, they could not. No, my parents would pressure me, guilt me, insult me, and use me. But they would not forge my name. Then I scrolled down and found 2 more pages. Initials that were not mine. An email thread where my mother wrote, Naomi is fully on board, she is just busy. A message from my father saying, support transfers will continue after closing. Continue. As if my future income already belonged to them. I called my friend Marin. She had known my family since college. She had seen enough to believe me before I finished explaining. We met at a late-night coffee shop off 5th Street. I brought the packet. She read silently. When she reached the signature page, her face changed. Naomi, she said, this is not manipulation anymore. I know. No. Say it. I looked down at the papers. It is fraud. The word felt too large for the table. She leaned forward. Do not confront them first. Protect yourself first. That sentence saved me. Because the trained daughter in me wanted to call my mother and beg for an explanation. The risk analyst in me knew explanations do not matter until evidence is safe. I went home and worked until sunrise. I downloaded every version of the packet. I saved the email headers. I changed passwords. I removed their access to my document drive. I moved my tax records and bank files into a new encrypted folder. I packed the few things I still kept at their house from the guest room. Winter coat, old books, a framed photo from college. The last pieces of myself I had left in a house where my name had become a tool. On Christmas Eve at 9:14 in the evening my phone rang. My mother. Her voice was cold. Too calm. Rehearsed. From now on, do not contact us. I stood in the hallway of my condo, surrounded by boxes I had not finished unpacking. What? You have become impossible, she said. Your father and I have decided we will move forward without you. I looked at the stack of documents on my counter. The forged signature. The false support statement. The transfer authorization. What does that mean? It means we are done being questioned by our own daughter. I heard my father in the background. Tell her we will be fine. My mother repeated it. We will be fine without you. Something inside me went very still. Not numb. Still. There is a difference. Numb means you cannot feel. Still means you finally know what to do. I said, fine. She paused as if she had expected crying. Or begging. Or a speech. If that is what you want, I said, I will respect it. Then I hung up. Within 20 minutes, I removed my administrative access from the joint family account. Not their money. Not my revenge. My access. The access they had used to imply continuing support. Then I sent a formal notice to the lender's fraud review department. I disputed the signature. I disputed the income representation. I disputed the transfer authorization. I attached identification, prior signature samples, and a statement saying I had not approved ongoing support for the purchase. At 11:48, I received an automated confirmation. At 12:36, the account activity was restricted pending review. At 1:15, the purchase file was frozen. My parents had said they would be fine without me. I simply stopped being part of the machinery that made the lie work. That is the part people miss. I did not sabotage the contract. I did not call someone and scream. I did not empty an account. I did not threaten anyone. I removed my name from a lie. If the lie needed my name to survive, that was not my fault. Christmas morning was quiet. I made coffee. I opened no gifts. I ignored my phone. The first missed call came at 7:06. My father. Then my mother. Then my father again. By noon there were 13 missed calls. By evening 21. By midnight 34. There were texts too. Call us. This is urgent. What did you do? You need to fix this. Your father is having chest pains. Do not be cruel on Christmas. That last one almost got me. Almost. Guilt is not a switch. You do not turn it off just because you understand it. It still looks for the old door. It still whispers maybe you should help. Maybe you are overreacting. Maybe they did not mean it. Then I opened the forged signature again. I looked at my name written by someone else. And the guilt went quiet. The next morning, I received a call from an independent closing attorney assigned to verify the dispute. His name was Jonathan Reeves. Not my parents' lawyer. Not my lawyer. The closing attorney connected to the review process. That mattered. He did not call to protect my parents. He called because my name was in documents that could expose me to legal and financial risk. He asked if I was willing to meet in person. We met in the lobby of a hotel downtown because his office was closed for the holiday week. He brought copies. I brought mine. He was polished, careful, and very precise. He explained that my parents had used projected funds from their current house sale, a bridge structure, and support assumptions tied to accounts where my name or access history appeared. When I restricted access and disputed the authorization, the file triggered review. The review found inconsistencies. 3 signatures. 2 initialed pages. 1 support schedule. Multiple emails implying I had agreed to help after closing. I asked if this could be treated as a mistake. He looked at me for a long moment. I cannot give you legal advice, he said. But I see no clean version of this where your parents did not know your approval was missing. That was the sentence that closed the door. Not loudly. Not dramatically. Just closed. That night my mother texted. We need to talk face to face. No apology. No admission. A demand. I went the next afternoon. Not because they deserved it. Because I wanted to see whether they could tell the truth when the lie was already exposed. My mother sat on the sofa with tissues in her lap. My father stood by the window, looking wounded. That was his favorite position when consequences arrived. I did not sit. Explain the signatures, I said. My mother dabbed her eyes. We were under pressure. That is not an explanation. My father turned. Paperwork got messy. My name got forged. He flinched. My mother said, "You are making it sound criminal." It is. Her face hardened. You always do this. You make everything cold and technical. No, I said. You made it technical when you put my name on a loan file. My father stepped closer. You were going to help anyway. I said I would review documents. You knew we needed this house. You wanted this house. My mother's voice sharpened. We did what we had to do for the family. There it was. The confession. Not regret. Just justification. For the family, I repeated. Yes. Was cutting me off on Christmas Eve for the family too? She looked away. My father muttered. You had become difficult. Difficult. Another old word. It meant you stopped being easy to use. My mother made the fatal mistake then. If you had not become so cold lately, none of this would have happened. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because it was perfect. In her mind, the fraud was not caused by their decision to forge. It was caused by my failure to stay soft enough to absorb it. I opened my phone. There is something you should hear. A year earlier, I had recorded a conversation after one of their financial emergencies. I had forgotten about it until I started moving files. In the voice memo, my mother said, Naomi always comes through when the pressure is on. She hates disappointing people more than being used. Then my father laughed. As long as she thinks she is the good one, she will pay. The room changed. My mother stopped crying. My father stared at the phone. For the first time, there was no way to dress it as concern. No way to call it family. No way to blame my tone. I turned the recording off. I am done, I said. My mother whispered. Naomi. No. I am done protecting your image. I am done being your backup plan. I am done letting you turn my conscience into collateral. My father's face went red. If you submit that statement, you could cost us everything. I looked at him. You did that when you decided my name was yours to use. In the days that followed, the smear campaign began. Relatives I had not heard from in months suddenly cared about family unity. One cousin said I was heartless. An aunt said parents make mistakes. Another relative said houses are more important than pride. I did not defend myself at first. I watched. I learned who asked questions and who only repeated my parents' version. Then I sent one calm message. No insults. No drama. Just facts. Unauthorized use of my name. Disputed signatures. False income support claim. Restricted account access. Formal denials submitted. I would not be involved in correcting issues I did not create. Some relatives went silent. Few apologized. One admitted my parents had asked her for money too, but told her not to mention it. That was when I understood I had not been the only resource. I had only been the most reliable. 2 days after Christmas, Jonathan Reeves called again. The purchase contract was dead. The review would continue. The lender had accepted my preliminary denial. The issue could be referred further depending on what the internal review found. Their current house was also in trouble because the bridge structure had depended on the sale and the new purchase moving cleanly. By New Year's, my parents had lost both the legacy home and the house they had used as proof they were fine. My mother's final text came after the movers left. We are out of the house. That was all. I stood in my kitchen and waited for the old pain to rise. It did, but it did not own me. I felt sadness. I felt anger. I felt a strange grief for the family I kept trying to earn. But under all of it, there was relief. The kind of relief that does not cheer. It breathes. Rang Gyoi Kong Fajia Din. A boundary does not break a family. It reveals what the family was standing on. If a home only stays standing because one person keeps signing, fixing, transferring, explaining, forgiving, and absorbing, then that home was never stable. It was balanced on that person's back. When they step away, people call it abandonment. But sometimes it is the first honest measurement of the damage. I changed my number. I moved the last of my old files into storage. I finished unpacking my condo. For the first time, my kitchen drawers held only my things. My accounts had only my name. My calendar had no emergency reminders for problems my parents created. The quiet felt strange at first. Then it felt clean. If I could write to the younger version of myself, the one who answered every call and feared every disappointed voice, I would not tell her to stop loving people. I would tell her this. Do not let kindness become a shared asset. Do not let your income become someone else's plan. Do not let your signature become family property. Helping once does not mean agreeing forever. Being capable does not mean being available. Being the good one does not mean paying for everyone who chooses badly. My parents said they would be fine without me. I let them prove it. And when they could not, I did not rush back to make the lie true. That was not revenge. That was freedom. Sometimes revenge is loud. Sometimes it is a lawsuit, a confrontation, a public collapse. But sometimes revenge is simply removing your name from the lie. Letting the truth stand without you holding it up. And finally understanding that peace is not something your family gives you. Sometimes it is what you recover when they lose access to you. Disclaimer. This video is created for the sole purpose of entertainment. All situations, characters, and stories in this video are fictional and are built entirely using artificial intelligence technology. We hope you have a relaxing time.